Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Bullet journals have always fascinated me, especially the ones I see on YouTube, and so recently I decided to read The Bullet Journal Method by Ryder Carroll. From what I've read, the bullet journal method introduced by this author is slightly different than the ones I've encountered on YouTube. In fact, I completely misunderstood what bullet journaling was all about. I thought it was all about drawing the lines, boxes, and illustrations myself by hand, and then you plan in it. But it's not just about that. In simple terms, the bullet journal method is basically journaling daily in short form utilizing symbols. So here is an example from the book. Normally one would write like this, proper sentences and all that, but the bullet journaling method practices rapid logging. So they use symbols at the side and then they write short form or short sentences however they want, but in short, concise manner. Now, what I saw on YouTube was essentially all the customization that various people have done to make it their own. Now, this video is not about what bullet journal method is all about, but instead, I'm going to tell you the pros and cons of the bullet journal method versus using a happy planner. I have been debating with myself whether I should start bullet journaling, and so as I go through this with you, I hope you will enjoy this video and maybe in turn help you decide whether bullet journaling is for you too. So here's an example of what some people have done in their bullet journals. So as you can see, it's a lot of illustrations, and then there's colors, and this is how they would write. Completely different from what I encountered in the book. Now, when it comes to the bullet journal method or Bujo method, all you really need is a simple notebook like this one. Now, I only have a blank page Moleskine notebook, so that means it's like basically for sketches, but I'm just showing you as an example. It is recommended to get the dot grid pages so that it makes it easy to draw tables, lines, and helps you to write evenly or straight. If you want a notebook like this, hardcover, with a bookmark, sometimes 3 bookmarks, and a strap, it can range between $15 to $30 depending on what brand you buy. Here's a list I compiled. And then maybe you would need a pen. That's all about you would really need to do the job, to plan in the bullet journal. For the Happy Planner, it can cost you from $20 up to $35 depending on the size and type of planner. So there's a mini, classic, and there's also the big size version of this Happy Planner. If you're sticking to just the basic necessities, a planner and a pen, it isn't all that much different from the bullet journal notebook. However, Happy Planner does come up with new products that go with the planner, accessories like stickers, folders, papers, rings, and many more. So there's even a pencil case. A person could easily spend more than $300 for each release. I've seen sometimes somebody spend more than that. But if you think about the different releases they have throughout the year for different retail shops like Michael's, Joann, Hobby Lobby, it can rack up to more than $300 in a year. You could put stickers, stick papers, and use tons of markers on the bullet journal as well, but most bullet journal people do not spend as much as what you would spend on Happy Planner stuff, because the very nature of bullet journaling is to keep things simple. The bullet journal method is effective in delivering what it promises to do, and that is to track the past, order the present, design the future. It's a matter of being consistent. You track your daily tasks or events onto one page, and then you use symbols to differentiate between tasks, events, pushing it forward, or scheduling it in the future log. So I'll show you an example of the symbols, or what they call signifiers. So I'm on Pinterest, and this is some of the examples. Some people call it keys, some people call it symbols, signifier, legends. It can be anything you want to call it, but basically it's the same thing. They create different symbols to represent different task events. You can add more or just use 5. It all depends on your personal need. After you've written your daily task or whatever, making use of the symbols and all that, you reflect on what you've written, and then you migrate what you wrote down to its respective sections. So you have to do this daily. This is an example of what he is explaining to do about migration. You write things in the daily logs, and then you transfer them either into your monthly log or your future log, and then to the following month. So you have to do this daily in order for it to be effective. Otherwise, it's just as good as any other planner out there. Because you're using a notebook with blank pages, you can be as creative as you want to be if you don't want to stick to the minimalist approach of bullet journaling. What the author introduced is considered a minimalist style. And really quickly, these are what the author uses, and I call it the minimalist approach, where it's just basically using simple headers. You write rapidly, and then you divide it with lines, use symbols to differentiate between things that you wrote, and then that's about it. I mean, he just used basic stuff. No decorations, no creative boxes or trackers, just simple stuff. The ones I've seen on YouTube are all of the creative ones. So I'll flip the camera around and show you an example. So these are the ones that are creative, where they do all kinds of illustrations, themes throughout the week or month, and that's how they make it their own. They put in colors, they create different trackers, different layouts. See, it can be very creative. So it's just entirely up to the person that uses this bullet journal. For the Happy Planner, because there are already boxes and illustrations like this, the weekly spread, and then you have the currently page. Everything is more or less laid down and set in place. So your creativity, if you want to draw all kinds of different stuff, can be limited by all of this. Okay. The notebook compared to a Happy Planner is very light, depending on which brand you buy, but it's fairly light and can easily fit in one's handbag or backpack. So you see the size of my hand over here, that's just as big as it gets. But it does have bigger sizes if you prefer it bigger, but ultimately it's lighter than a Happy Planner. Whereas for the Happy Planner, the classic and the big size Happy Planners are a little bit heavy and cumbersome to fit in a bag. And most people wouldn't just carry their planners alone. They would need to bring their stickers, pens, and other tools to do their planning. Whereas for the bullet journal people, all they really need to bring is their notebook and a pen. At most, they would bring maybe a colorful brush pen, marker, just to color stuff in, and that's about it. Now I'm going to talk about the cons. The one thing that the bullet journal has is an index page. So this is an example of an index page that the author created. It helps to keep track of what pages you've created and where it's located. This I find to be tedious because I would have to remember to write it down onto the index page. A bullet journal planner would most likely work on a page one after another, even though it's about a different subject, like say a list of books to read or chores, project. They would note down those pages on the index page if they want to know where to return to. You could divide the pages into respective sections, but you can't really predict how much a particular section would take up, And so that's why you would just write after the previous page, regardless of whether it's a log or habit tracker. Some people have developed a certain set of pages to create week after week or month after month, and can therefore will be able to predict how many pages they're going to use. But that would involve some planning, and it might prevent you from adding any other different page to it if you want to stick to that pattern. So that's why the index page exists. Another reason why the index can be useful is if the single page is not enough or you want to continue from it, but then the following page has already been used for a different purpose, you would have to start on a different page further down. And then not only do you have to note the page on your index, you would have to thread the two pages together. Threading is what they call linking the two pages together so that it can be easily referenced with each other. So here is the regular page numbers, and then they put a slash, and the other page that's sharing the same subject or topic or is related to each other, the page number will be written over here on this side. So that's what they call threading. One cannot simply remove the page and rearrange them like in a happy planner. So here in a happy planner, say you made a list and you want to put it somewhere in between the weekly pages because it's related to that week. You can just easily put it in, and then there you have it. You don't have to create an index page to remember where it is. You can rearrange how you want these pages to look like, and you can even Franken-planner your planners from different planners together in one. The Happy Planner's unique appeal is the ability to customize the order of pages to better suit their needs. For the bullet journal, you can't do that. You can tear the page from it, but you can't put it back. You would have to rely on the index page or the threading method. Now, the appeal of bullet journaling for me is being able to create and draw anything I want, right? That's my main purpose or my interest in the bullet journal method. But then I would have to spend the time to draw the themes, and it can get rather tedious when you have to draw the lines, the boxes or numbers, especially like the months, the dates. And then you would have to color them yourself if you want to add some colors to the pages. The Happy Planner, everything is already on the pages. See, you have all this already made for you. The colors are already there. Different themes, different colors. Even different months have different patterns and designs to them, like this. So it keeps things interesting. Happy Planner comes up with different theme planners that would appeal to different people, and the only time you would need to spend on the planner is decorating it with stickers, which is by far easier and faster than drawing illustrations yourself if you're not artistically inclined. Like for me, I could draw or maybe doodle, but it's not really like really pretty or anything like that. So I think after a while I may just get tired of my own drawing and I will just stop completely. If you decide to do away with the illustrations and use the minimalist approach, it can get a bit boring after a while. Here's an example of what my typical weekly spread would look like. It's colorful. It has different pictures or illustrations from the stickers, and then different layouts. I could insert different pages in between my weekly spread so that it's related to one another. And that's why the Happy Planner works so well for me. Everything is so colorful already. I get to play with stickers to decorate my planner, and that makes me want to plan in it every day. Migrating the task is important in order for you to keep track of things in the bullet journal. So I'll show you an example of what migration is about. So I'm going to show you again the migration table. It won't work if you don't do this migration. And after a while, it can get tedious because it involves rewriting stuff. Say you wrote in your daily logs, and then at the end of the day, you're supposed to revisit it, cancel out whichever that was not done, and then transfer it either to the monthly log or the future log. And then the next day, you're going to start a new day by doing, let's say, a new month, doing a new monthly log, new future log, and then start all over again, day by day. Some people don't do the migration and just simply write in the respective sections right away, but that strays a little bit from the original bullet journal method. If that's the case, you might as well just use other planners like the Happy Planner. With all the pros and cons and finally understanding what bullet journaling is all about, I have decided that I most probably won't be taking up bullet journaling, as in getting a notebook and planning in it. I might incorporate some of the practices into my Happy Planner, however, like using the symbols and revisiting the goals for the month and then the week and so on and so forth. It was tempting for me because of the simplistic nature of bullet journaling, the room for drawing creativity, and I would not have to spend so much when it comes to bullet journaling. But then it would just be a repeat of what would happen eventually, like all the previous planners I've used. I've used the Passion Planner, Panda Planner, Sparks Journal, and they all at some point went unused. And I had to force myself to plan in it and even decorate it to make it look interesting again. I think it's because it was just black lines and the writing and the layout doesn't work for me. I don't know. But adding stickers didn't really work. But for the Happy Planner, because the themes and products that go along with it make it so appealing to me, it effectively made me want to plan in it every day. And it's by far the longest planner I've ever used. I've used this since the beginning, or actually the end of 2017. So it's been quite a while. Usually for the previous planners, even before the year ends, I've already gone and bought a different planner entirely, just to give it a new try. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. And if you like it, do give it a thumbs up. If you want to watch more of my other videos, do subscribe to my channel. And with that, see you next time. Bye!